There's a lot to love here. Of course, I actually think it looks amazing. The interior quality seems great. Overall, the package is the right size. It's the right image. ASMR. That's all it goes back?
Yikes.
And Coleton, here I'd like to display the copious amount of front trunk space to you.
Wow.
Thank you to our sponsors for today's video: StarCharge, InfyPower, Nokian Tyres, and Amber. StarCharge is the largest EV charging manufacturer in the world and is also a provider of residential and commercial battery storage, as well as microgrid solutions. InfyPower is the largest EV charger module provider with over 3 million power modules running reliably worldwide. Their latest G2 collection features ultra-high power density and efficiency for EV charging and energy storage integration. InfyPower, innovation for your power. This video is also brought to you by Nokian Tyres, a leader in safety and sustainability. Maximize performance and efficiency with their made-in-USA all-season tires and their dedicated Hakkapeliitta EV winter line from the inventor of the winter tire. Learn more at nokiantires.com/EV. And Amber. Amber offers a modern extended warranty for your Tesla's battery and more without the burden of long-term contracts or upfront payments. Check out the link in the description below to browse their plan options and get started with a free over-the-air diagnostic check.
Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome to beautiful California, and welcome now to the first time where we are able to feature the Maserati Grecale Folgore. That might sound like word soup to you. What the heck is this thing? Well, in this video, we're going to demystify this fully electric SUV that's really a Porsche Macan competitor in my head, and then we will also take you on a full tour, tip to tail, go through as many different software things as possible, really try and figure out what was Maserati thinking when they were building, designing, engineering this fully electric SUV. I'm looking forward to this. Coleton joins me. Let's get into it. Coleton, here we have the Maserati Grecale. That means this model can be had in a combustion or electric, so it supports both. Very similar to the Maserati Gran Cabrio and Gran Turismo. If you show the viewers this one over here, this is the Gran Cabrio. Really nice looking car. Of course, that's a fully electric model. 800 volt, 270 kilowatt charging, 3 electric motors in that one. This is seemingly a much more toned down in terms of the specs. So the one thing that we have to keep in mind is we don't know the price for this car. And a lot of times when I go on first tours and try and show everyone the pricing, or excuse me, show everyone the car, it's really helpful to have the pricing because then it helps us gauge, okay, where do we need to compare this to in terms of the overall market? I mean, is this going to be Polestar 3 money, which is like 70,000, 80,000? Is it Macan Turbo money, which is like 110, 120, 130? Or is this 200 grand like the other electric Maseratis? And to be honest, we have Euro pricing initially already out around 110,000 euros. I think we're going to see this car come somewhere in that 120, 130 range, but it's just a guess. I really don't know. So I think just to place this in the market, this is going to be on the high end of Macan, starting for one of these. In Europe, at least, they come one way and you just choose colors. They come fully loaded. So it's really like this is Lotus Electra competitor territory, I would say. Your initial impression on the design, we'll walk everyone around. What do you think, Coleton? How does it look to you?
You know, to be totally honest, it may just be the color here. It looks unimpressive to me.
It just looks like normal traffic.
Yeah, it looks, yeah, exactly. It's just kind of bubbly. I think, you know, the badges really show that it's a Maserati. If you had them taken off, you would literally have no idea.
So I would totally agree with that, but I think it looks good. It's handsome. It's definitely well thought out. You have some diffusers around going on back here. The shut lines, the body lines look high quality. I don't think you'd look at this and say, wow, look at that crappy car going down the road.
No, I just don't think it like stands out. Like, you know, looking at one of these, this really stands out. I mean, of course, you have a bright pink convertible back there.
Also, that is the correct color to get that car in.
Exactly. So this in a very subdued gray, you kind of see hints of like, it kind of looks like a Macan, it kind of looks like a Cayenne from different angles. And you start just seeing, yeah, okay, so some different design language going on.
I noticed a lot of Porsche Taycan inside of that Maserati Grand Cabrio
Yeah.
when we drove it earlier today. Just like you can tell they drove that car and benchmarked a lot of its attributes. I think we're going to see a lot of Macan benchmark in here, not the electric one, but the combustion one. I mean, clearly the combustion Maserati Grecale, not this, but the combustion one, is squarely positioned to compete against Macan on the higher end, but it's doing well, and they drive pretty nice. They have pretty spicy motors, and it's like actually a pretty good car. Which is, I say that because Maserati hasn't had the best brand reputation. I haven't truly been the biggest fan of their products in recent times. The Levante was kind of lame, the Quattroporte never sold well, the Ghibli wasn't amazing, and now we're coming into this new age, this new world, this new electrification that I think can propel the brand with a new image, a new following, a new fan base, a new driver base, and I think cars like this make it so much more attainable if they price it correctly. So that's right off the bat where I'm like, I think we're at the brink of either something really good or really bad for the brand, and there seems to be good energy, Coleton. There's a lot of engineering spend going on in here, a lot of in-house development when it comes to driving dynamics and tuning the electric motors. I think it's quite exciting for Stellantis Group as a whole, because this can act as a technological sort of top showcase that can trickle down into other Stellantis products.
Yeah, totally agree.
Okay, great. Well, let's go on the tour, shall we? First step, specs, pricing. We don't know pricing, but some specs. So we have two electric motors, both making 205 kilowatts each. I think they're dual permanent magnet, no clutch disconnect here. So you basically have 410 kilowatts of power, just over 500 horsepower. Is that enough, Coleton, considering this is going to cost more and way more than the Macan EV?
I haven't driven Macan EV, especially, I mean, you've been on the drive of it, so I think I'd probably bounce that back, but I feel like what we just got out of the Grand Cabriolet, like, it was quick, noticeably pretty quick. I think this needs to be right up there with it.
It's going to be way slower than that.
Exactly.
I think from a spicy perspective, it might be lacking some of the fun stuff. And then we get to the range and battery pack right off the bat, which seems really bad. So 105 kilowatt hour battery gross capacity. I'm not sure what usable is. They have huge buffers on the Gran Turismo and Gran Cabrio Folgores. I'm guessing probably less on this, because I think this is a car that's going to be less viewed as a collector vehicle, less as a weekend car that's going to sit. It's more of a daily usable car. 500 kilometers of range, like 310 miles in the WLTP cycle with 105 kilowatt hour gross battery pack.
Dude.
Not good at all. What the heck?
Yeah,
so,
WLTP is always substantially higher, right?
Yeah, it's very optimistic. So what does that mean for EPA? Is this like a 260, 270 mile range? It's very possible, but keep in mind it has a fairly large battery. I mean, it's not out of the realm. I just think this needs to have a 300 mile EPA range. I know it's not meant to be Mr. Efficient and all that stuff, but 105 kilowatt hour battery is pretty good. I want to say Macan is 100 gross, 95 usable, I believe. So this is probably in the same usable capacity as Macan. It also seemingly has a little bit more space than Macan EV. It's a little bit bigger.
Definitely.
And I keep comparing it to Macan EV, Coleton. A, because we've made a lot of videos with it on this channel already, and I think for me this is a direct competitor, but there's not many other electric SUVs in this category. Lotus Electra comes to mind, but that's a bit bigger, more Chinese, less traditional automakery, because Lotus is now Chinese. What is there anything else really that we're missing?
I mean, I guess Q8 e-tron, but it's like still, this is way above. But they're also spending...
Yeah, Q8 e-tron, SQ8 e-tron,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah, but that's old.
It's
That's
old.
like going out of production.
It's bigger than this.
Yeah, but inside, maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know where they put the space in those, because they're not quite
They're very
as big
space inefficient.
Yeah,
e-trons.
exactly. And also inefficient.
Here's the biggest disappointment on the battery side. It's not just the range. You get 22 kilowatt AC charging in Europe. I have no idea what the US cars will come with on onboard charger. I hope 80 amp onboard charger. Macan really struggles in this category. They only have a 40 amp onboard charger, which is like 9.6 kilowatts. They can't even do 11 kilowatt AC charging. I hope this at least has a 48 amp, 11 kilowatt onboard charger. I feel like that would be acceptable. And then from a DC charging perspective, Coleton, this is the real couple things here. This being on a spring is going to annoy the crap out of everyone trying to plug in their car.
Yes.
This should hold in position out here. That's just from an EV driver. Obviously, they never drove an electric car engineering this, because this would be the first thing that never makes it to production. That's crazy.
Yep.
And you, with having just one hand,
It'd be impossible.
Impossible for you to plug in this car. Because again, if you only have one hand, you're using it to hold it open, then what do you do with the CCS port?
It's not gonna work.
Not gonna work. Okay, beyond that, just imagine you're a fully able-bodied person and you can get this car plugged in. 150 kilowatt peak charging.
Ooh.
Is this 2016 Audi e-tron again, when that car was unveiled?
Rough.
What?
Yeah,
so
that's
here's
rough.
the crazy part. The other cars, they're 800 volt cars. This is 400 volt. Their Gran Cabrio and Gran Turismo do 270 kilowatt charging, seemingly pretty spicy charging, good, all that stuff. 150 kilowatt charging?
Yes. And definitely a premium vehicle at that you're going to be spending quite a bit of money.
Dude, most people will charge at home, right? So like,
Of course.
that's the thing. If you charge at home 99% of the time, that doesn't necessarily matter for everyone. But when you're comparing cars, when you're making a buying decision, the fact that this and its direct competitor, the Macan EV Turbo in this case, which I guess they would just call it the Macan Turbo. You don't leave the EV in there.
Yeah.
That does 270 kilowatt charging and doesn't come below 200 kilowatts till like 70-ish percent, 60 to 70%. So that car at 80% state of charge should hold about 150 kilowatts, which is this car's maximum.
That's rough.
That's rough.
Yeah.
So Maserati claims 20 to 80% in 29 minutes on this. 20 to 80.
Ooh.
Not good.
Yeah, not 10 to 80, 20 to 80.
When you start seeing automakers not quote 0 to 80 or 10 to 80 and they go 20 to 80 or
Yeah.
30 to 80, you go, oh boy. So right off the bat, I'm just a bit confused on the market position of this car, which is it's clearly not designed to be a long distance cruiser because you need fast charging for it. It does have battery preconditioning and they claim route planning, which is great. But it's I don't know, those numbers right off the bat there, I'm struggling with. The design I'm struggling less with than you. I think it's a pretty handsome car. We always kind of start in the back anyway, so let me open up the trunk for you. I actually have the key as well, as this pushes me off the stand. The key is really nice, Coleton. It has a lot of weight to it, a lot of heft. You have lock, unlock, trunk, and alarm in the correct order, unlike Macan.
Okay.
I'm never going to let Porsche live the Macan key down. It's not correct. And there's a large amount of space back here. This is really practical. We also have not much underfloor storage, and we have a little emergency pin, your charge port release right there. And is there anything under here? No, this doesn't even want to lift up without removing panels. So, okay, not much back here to speak of other than I can fold the seats down. Let's do that. Wow, goes pretty flat, Coleton.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
totally reasonable.
I
there.
would say from a space standpoint, you're not giving up anything going with this car. This is really nice. I love how it's pretty flat and yeah, plenty of room actually. Really plenty of room. I'm gonna do the back seat test after I set the driver's seat position.
Cool.
But powered trunk, I mean, this all feels good. The thing is, it doesn't feel bespoke, doesn't feel really high quality. This is the everyday Maserati. And it has, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's basically what I'm trying to say is I don't really feel bad about beating this one up. You could throw the dogs in here. It's,
Sure.
Yeah, sure, it's got a Maserati badge, but that doesn't necessarily mean like don't use it or be afraid of it. It feels pretty durable. Okay, let's do the back seat test. So let me open up the front door. Does it have soft close, by the way? No soft close. And the horn is beeping. Okay, so in here, oh boy, I gotta put this seat back. So the way I sit, I'm 6'1", which is 180 centimeters, I think, plus or minus. Seats feel really nice, by the way. This is my first time sitting in here. Oh, I'm liking that a lot. Very much looking forward to it. I think it feels a little bit bigger than Macan all around, EV.
Yeah, that was my impression.
Yeah.
I jumped in the back seat quickly. It definitely felt
Yeah,
roomy.
yeah. I would say it's probably between Macan and Cayenne. And dude, great
Plenty.
room there. Good, not great, but I almost said great, but good headroom.
Yeah.
And my head doesn't hit, and I've got plenty of room to breathe here. You can see just how far out this door panel goes. I'm just gonna close the door, just double check that. Oh, plenty of room to breathe in here. And I'll just slide over so you can pop up and see some of this stuff as well. I've got a center console that even has like a little phone holder here in the middle, not a charger, but just two cup holders. I've got a touch screen with heated seats in the back. Oh, should we? Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Really?
Oh, you
Zoom
have
in
to.
on it. All right, let's do it. ASMR.
Nice.
Sorry, Maserati.
Put
And
it
we'll
back
put
with
it
a
right
bunch of
back
bubbles.
on with bubbles.
Good to go.
But I love, this is very Porsche. Like everything here even looks like the Porsche Audi arrows, doesn't it?
Literally identical.
Might even be the same part. I don't know. That's pretty funny. But you can adjust these rear air vents and you have auto. No B-pillar vents, so it doesn't pass the ELISA test, but pretty good. Has Maserati stitching in there. Very high quality feeling leather. I mean, like this is top spec Porsche leather. What do you think?
Yeah, totally agree. One thing that I'm noticing back here, just looking at like the thickness of this, looks very thin to me.
It's so that it folds flat.
But you sit in here and it's actually really comfortable in the back. It's
Yeah.
not bad at all.
Yeah, you were in the back earlier. Actually, I feel pretty good bolstering. Like maybe you sink into it a bit.
I think you kind of do, but I mean, just originally looking at this, I'm like, ooh, those seats are going to be a little harsh back there. But yeah, honestly, reasonable headroom up there as well. And legroom seemed pretty good to me.
So, you know, forget the EV specs for a second. This mid $100,000 range, let's say 130 base, 150 with options, that's expensive. It's a Maserati. It's got to look, you know, most of the, I think, I hate to judge people here, but I think most people buy Maseratis just to say they drive a Maserati.
Oh, 100%.
And so I think this accomplishes a little bit of that. And it feels pretty high quality in here.
Yeah,
and
totally
they
agree.
won't know 150 kilowatt charging versus 500 kilowatt charging. What do they care?
No, they're going to plug it in at home. They're going to go to Whole Foods, go to yoga, go to the tennis court, and come back.
Yeah, and this seems to accomplish that pretty well.
Yeah,
I would
totally
say.
agree.
I mean, as the EV nerd in me, the car reviewer in me goes, how can you release a product that has half the performance of your competitor in the most important category for an electric car? Crazy.
Yeah.
And then people will buy it and not even care. So, you know, you just have to take my criticisms with a, does this matter to you? And, you know, little situation
Asterisk.
there. Asterisk. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. We actually have seat pockets, and yes, nothing will fall out of them. They're not super spacious, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
So that's great. We have some lights back here as well that are push. We have really cheap feeling handles. Colton, grab that handle.
Yeah, the whole
wait,
headliner.
You're using your hand
Yeah,
to film.
I'm filming here, but
Yeah.
my impression, like the headliner, feels so cheap.
Yeah.
This needs to be Alcantara or micro suede. I mean, Model X has that. Model S has that. Isn't that terrible?
What is this material?
It honestly feels like the Kia EV9 GT line headliner, which is supposed to be like soft micro suede, but it's like a terrible carpet. This is exactly the same. 100% this is the same out of a Kia EV9.
Really?
100%.
Not our EV9 though, right?
No, the GT line.
The
So
top
the
spec.
special one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gives me the cringe touching.
Yeah,
this.
you can just
Not
I can
that you're
hear
going
it.
in your car and touching your headliner. To me, visually, it looks pretty good.
Yes, totally agree.
Okay, so I've got a little button to open the door. Nice click on the button.
Yeah, do like these quite a bit here.
Yeah, and then you've got the window switches that are backlit, but you cannot see them if it's bright.
Yeah, I can't see anything. I know, you know my thing with gloss black stuff, like this
Yeah.
is just going to be destroyed and look smudgy and terrible like it does.
It seems really quiet in here. I know that door is open, but I just rolled down the window and it's actually loud outside.
So let's close this.
Obviously I'm on a mic. It wouldn't make a difference.
What do you think?
I
can't
I
hear
can see
anything.
Colton talking, but I don't know what he's saying.
I don't know. I gotta hear you at all.
Oh, okay. Amazing.
Perfectly quiet.
Dude, it feels really high quality, really tight in here. This is where the money's going. It's
Yeah.
not going to the EV drivetrain stuff. Yeah, it's four-wheel drive. You have, 500 horsepower. That's all fine. We'll get into the driving stuff when we have time. Maserati already told us that they're going to get us one early and for a couple weeks to do all the testing. So, maybe we'll find out that the range is actually better. Like especially Porsche really struggles with range, EPA range, and then they really do perform well in the real world. Perhaps that's a case of that here. But there's a lot of, I think my hesitation with the brand, if I was looking at buying one of these, which I'm not, but if I was, would be there is no proven track record of a high technology vehicle lasting a long time from the brand. And so I really just hope that there's software sorted out. They support over-the-air software updates. But I don't think there's like phone as a key and all these like things that I've come to expect. There's got to be an app for the car, I hope. And a lot of it's just, it hasn't launched in our market yet, so there's not many answers. But these are all the things I'm looking forward to testing for you guys. Okay, I'll take the L and test the Maserati for a few weeks. Sorry.
Darn.
Front seat review, Colton?
Yep.
Okay. Let me pop up there.
You want me to hop in the back here?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Okay.
Still rolling.
We're in. Wow. Button central here. This is almost overload.
It's a lot. It's definitely a lot.
Okay, so we have a power steering rack, which is nice. The wheel does not seemingly come out as far as I need it to, which could be an issue. Like I want it here, and it's here. So I want another 3-4 inches out of it. Let's start up here. We've got a camera. Oh no, this is temperature sensors, I guess. Trunk
yeah.
opening. We've got lights on and off, assistance, SOS, and then we have 3 separate sections for the roof. The one on the right open and closes this shade. The one in the middle tilts and goes, and so then you can vent the air back here if you can show the viewers that, Colton. And I can open up the glass roof. This is quite a plasticky centerpiece. That's very Toyota BZ4X of them.
Totally agree.
And then we can open the sunroof, one touch.
That all goes back?
No.
Oh, no.
Okay. But it must, that's all it goes back?
Yikes. Hey, it's better than Model Y. You can open it.
You think so?
No, because it's too
Because
narrow.
then it looks stupid.
This looks, it really looks cheap. And this, to me, feels extremely narrow. Like the actual distance this goes. Like my head is sitting halfway in the middle of light and then headliner.
And, you know, with cars with the glass roof come all the way out to the edge.
Exactly.
I'm not sure that was worth the compromise of a moving component. And then, you know, they put 3 separate switches for something that is typically baked into one switch in a car.
Yeah, right.
So that's also just an ergonomic, confusing thing. But you can get used to that, whatever. We're not, that's fine. There's just, every car has quirks, if you will. That's how Doug DeMuro has his whole business based around things like this, which is really funny. We have a digital clock inside of this housing here. And I know there's a way you can change the design and things like that, which is cool. I guess just from up here, I just want to very briefly just touch on the climate control. No, I want to go here to seats. I want to go to, can I not? Oh no, I've got it. Change it. What am I doing over here? Anyway, I'm going to just basically talk roughly about how the car feels from a seating position up here and materials. Everything feels pretty high quality. All of this is really heavily weighted, nice knurling on the actual metal components.
Nice volume button.
Dude, the volume switch is go down. No! Infuriating.
Yeah, that's a big no-go.
5 minutes before we started this video, I was trying to figure out what's the optimal way. Now the car just shut off. What's the optimal way to, like, you know, adjust the volume? And I think it is to lightly swipe like this. Yeah.
There you go.
And you can hear this, the most annoying click sound. But if you swipe too lightly, it doesn't recognize your finger. And if you swipe too hard, it doesn't necessarily recognize your finger. So you've got to develop a touch for that. And on the steering wheel, I don't see, other than, yeah, you got the buttons in the back, like Dodge Dart has to do the stuff. Okay, car on. Woohoo. It's loaded up. Okay, steering wheel, good steering wheel.
Thought you were
Very
going to
nice.
say great.
I was about to. That's this whole car. It's like, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big juicy paddle shifters for your single speed electric transmission. All this does is adjust your regen settings, which we found out when we drove the Grand Cabrio Folgore. Your start button's here on the steering wheel on the left side. Your drive mode selection is here on the right. So you've got your rough suspension or your sporty suspension. You have different drive modes here from off-road, max range, GT, and sport. I'm putting it in sport so it slams it down a bit so it looks better on display.
Great.
When we filmed it, it was in standard ride height. So now we're in ride height. There's still one more lower it can go. I don't know how to get it in there, but we're basically in low ride height. And you have, I think, no one pedal driving. Maserati tried to explain to me today that their philosophy is they don't like one pedal driving because it feels unnatural. And so therefore they make the cars creep at low speed, which means you then have to put your foot on the brake. And that seems like a very Porsche argument.
Yep.
And I think that also probably comes from a lot of their benchmarking of Porsche. But I would suggest that they at least include one pedal driving for people who want it.
Totally agree.
Give people the option. It's like the Ioniq 5N shifting thing, right? Like not everyone likes it, but like if it helps people buy the car and they enjoy it, then put it in there. But
Yeah,
and you can
have
turn it off.
You have those huge paddles. Use them every day.
I mean, I'm not sure this should have the fake shifting, Coleton,
It's
but
terrible. Don't like it.
yeah, definitely interesting. You have 1, 2, 3 regen settings, which is coasting, low, and high.
Okay.
Very similar to Audi e-tron, has similar regen, like the full-size e-tron. You have all your driver assistance here with lane centering, adaptive cruise control. This side you have configurable displays where you can basically go and pull up different drive menus. I can pull up front motor and rear motor torque. I have my driver assistance displays. It's very similar to normal Stellantis products, I would say. It's nothing super crazy. I can go cluster layout and do like a relaxed layout, which I don't like at all. I can go to a evolved layout, which I don't like at all. And then you can go to a classic layout, which I much prefer. So this will show you basic information, things like that. The steering wheel's good. Pedals bottom hinged. Love to see that. Bottom hinged, and I'm just going to make sure because I don't think the car's on. There is a kick down switch at the bottom. I'm not sure what that would be for other than maybe when you're in max range to override. They have a max range of 130 kilometer per hour limit, and that's automatically recommended to the driver at 16% state of charge when the station thinks there's no charger nearby. So as long as you meet those criteria, it will pop up max range, and I can put the car into max range here. Auto emergency braking on, and we're in max range. Cool. Back to sport. We also have sport suspensions and sport sound. There's a bunch of drive mode stuff. We'll go through all of this. To shift it, you go park, reverse, neutral, drive across the center here. And your center of the car is split up into a few different categories. You've got your time, you've got your infotainment, you have your climate control and seating and ambient stuff, and then other vehicle functions like ESC off. I love that there's just a button for that, which is great. And you just push and hold, I don't know. Yeah, there you go. Boom, ESC off. Okay, that's where you get some of that performance-minded brand coming through, which I really do appreciate. You have your height selection for the vehicle. So we are set to aero height right now, which is 1 lower. That seems to be the lowest it lets us go, although it does indicate like there's an access mode somewhere. You can choose different ambient lighting, which would be cold, neutral, warm. It was on red earlier, though, wasn't it, Coleton?
Yeah, I think so.
How do you get it back to that?
Oh, that's weird, huh?
That is weird. Okay, maybe that's because we were switching drive modes around. It like goes with the drive mode.
There you go.
Yeah, so it matches drive mode. And then I have my rear controls as well. What I can't find here is any mention of dog mode, keep climate on, stuff like that. Don't see that anywhere.
Yeah, we need keep climate of any sort in these cars.
Yeah, definitely, like people want to bring their pets with them. People want to just sometimes I like to go to the store and just keep the climate control running. Yeah. I've got a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack. What do I care if it burns a few hundred watt hours? Just keep the AC going while I'm away. And I don't see a way, at least initially, easily to just go boom, dog mode or boom, keep climate and leave it on, which I think is a real miss. Every electric car needs that function. Okay. Top screen here, this is where we're going to dig into it. Maybe before that, we've got a wireless phone charger with some grippy pads, but it does not appear to be actively cooled. We have this mechanism, pretty cool mechanism actually, that opens up to your USB connections, and there's definitely a little bit of room for your cable to slide out and a few things. 2 deep cup holders here, and then we have a relatively deep, for an electric car at least, a relatively deep center console. You have the place to put the key if the key battery dies, and a 12-volt connection in there as well. Materials feel really nice. The build quality feels really nice. No creakiness anywhere in this whole cabin, which is really great. So we're connecting to someone's iPhone, okay, in Italy, I think. Whoops. And now they're calling back. Audio transferred. Get out of here. What? So on our home screen, this is, we go, before we even do this, Colton, we go deep and are going to increasingly go deeper into software in vehicles, because this drives the day-to-day experience. It's not only about driving, we can't drive it today anyway. So I just want to go through this software system for everyone. Do you agree we should do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think software, especially in EVs, is becoming something that I think a lot of companies get by with, but there's a lot more improvement that needs to just happen for day-to-day, like ease of use. Just like you're on the road, you're cruising 80 miles an hour down the road, you want to stop, I need to be able to find a charger quickly and not go through 30 menus and a terrible layout.
Yeah, or pull out your phone and find an app. Yeah,
exactly. So I think those little usability things are nice. I know a lot of people just use Apple CarPlay. I'm not a huge CarPlay guy. I do use it in my cars that have terrible software.
Yeah, sure. So home screen seems to be customizable. So we have instant power consumption, which is kind of cool. We've got battery level, we're at 73%. What's nice is it'll tell you, right now they have their charge limit set to 100%. It'll say if we fast charge it, it'll take 26 minutes to get to 100%. Doesn't actually seem that bad for top charging.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, and then 240 volts says 2 hours, 19 minutes. 120 volt, 18 hours, 10 minutes. And then we can basically create our own layouts and pages and select what we want to put in here. So I can say, okay, let's put in accessory gauges. And then we've got battery temperature. We've got 12-volt battery. We've got battery level. 12-volt batteries going to the moon.
Screaming.
Yeah, so we've got lots of cool configurations, which I kind of like this setup here. Inside media, we have different sources. So you have FM, AM. AM in an electric car is pretty rare, actually. Sirius, Bluetooth, USB. Where's my Spotify?
Yeah, built-in Spotify would be very nice, especially in a premium vehicle.
Right, I don't see anything like that in here. Perhaps it's downloadable, but this does have the Sonus Faber, I'm saying it totally wrong, I know, but as the Sonus Faber, like, crazy sound system. They're very proud of it, and it's an Italian music sound system company, and I've got to hear some of their systems, the home systems and their car systems, and they are truly fantastic. Inside navigation now, here we are. We have arrived. Hello and welcome to the navigation system of the Grecale. Let's first complain that the screen, the texting screen here, should be down here.
Yep.
This, like, why does it block half the things? And we noticed the same thing in the other Maseratis already. It's pretty crazy. But
this is the same exact system out of the other ones, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So I just want to go to Fort Collins, Colorado. I'm in an electric car. I have 73% state of charge. I'm going to hit check because I want to get the screen, the typing thing out of the way. I'm going to select Fort Collins. You can see it's the text is back up. Now I then have to say, yes, I want to drive. If I come here, yeah, there's no extra settings. Let's hit drive to Fort Collins. You can see it's thinking. How long do you think it's going to take, Colton?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is probably one of the most important benchmarks for an electric car from my side. It has to be able to, for any long distance EV, especially as this one might be people's first electric car, it has to route you to your destination with the charging stops included. It then has to precondition the battery to that charging stop so that you get the maximum charging performance. It then has to have plug-in charge. I don't think this has plug-in charge. At least there's no mention of it in the press materials.
It's doing something over here.
Yep, so it's mapped out the drive home, which is 1,302 miles. I'm going to hit drive. Okay, there we go. It says recharging needed, find a station along the route. Let's go here to options, and let's say charging. You can say add stop. So charging parks along route.
You will arrive at your destination at 9:04 a.m.
The first option it presents to me is a charge point with 6.4 kilowatts in 4 miles from now.
Very nice. We
Colton,
definitely need that.
we have 211 miles of indicated range.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to stop in 4 miles.
No.
Okay, the next option it presents to me is EVgo 50 kilowatts, which is 30% of what this battery can take maximum. That's in 5.8 miles.
Nice.
So does it want you to stop every 5 miles? So to me, this really needs a lot of work, because we've tried in the other electric cars too. They say they have route planning, but it doesn't work at all. It just
Yeah.
shows you the nearest charging stations.
Yeah. So it looks like they do kind of the similar ID4 thing, I guess, is my most experience of where they kind of show you a map of where it thinks you can make it to, which is sometimes helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I can go to routing and it'll even pop up like EV charger search preferences, right? Suitable charging connectors. Do you want the type 1 Yazaki? The type 1, type 2, like, shouldn't it know what port my car has on it? It doesn't have GBT. It has type 1 CCS. So
we unchecked.
yeah, okay. So we don't want it to search for type 2. We don't want it to search for type 2. We don't want it to cite, I've never even heard of Yazaki. We don't want it to search for GBT. We don't want it to search for CHAdeMO. Why do I have to tell the car what port it has? And then charging station payment provider, it's showing me all the Euro ones.
Oh my God. Maybe.
It's like, well, you know, it's possible this car is not really set up for our
Yeah.
market. It seemingly, all I'm saying is they have a lot of work to do before they launch this
Yeah.
in the US. Because to launch a car here without route planning is a real shame. And yeah, there's no other settings for EV route planning. So that is a complete fail. We'll see what happens when we drive a series production car that's US spec. This really has to have route planning by the time we do that.
Yep.
Just crazy to me. Then you've got phone. Yep, there's Flower's iPhone. We were connected to it earlier, so we know that works. There's vehicle settings. This could get pretty complicated. It's also very laggy, this system.
Very laggy.
So we have tire pressure. There we go. So it shows you tire pressure, which is great. It says you need service in 9,200 miles. So every 10,000 miles, you need service on this car?
You gotta change the
Or
oil
every
or
year?
what?
What do you got to do every 10,000 miles? I would change the oil. I would have to bring it into service like every week.
Yeah.
What the
That's
heck?
crazy.
Okay, that requires some digging into as well. Why do you
Sure.
have to service an EV every 10,000 miles? Maybe it's just the first service?
Could be.
Tire
Yeah, kind
rotation?
of like a check over rotation. That
Yeah,
could make sense
that,
for sure.
That could be, but just I hope it just doesn't pop up a warning. You have your instant consumption, you have your climate consumption under power flow. We have a driving history. So it's still just as laggy and glitchy as the Grand Cabrio
Oh,
system.
it was terrible. Yeah, and still is pretty much the
Look
same.
at this. Okay, but that last one went pretty quick. You can change your AC charging level. So this doesn't tell you how many amps it does. I think in the user manual it does. But why can't I just set amperage?
Yeah, just like Tesla does, go up by one, down by one, whatever it needs to be.
And then this really bothers me. There is no charging limit slider. You can choose between two ending state of charges. There's a 100%, which goes to full 100% range, or there's 80%.
Yep.
Which I like to charge my cars much less than that to reduce degradation.
Yeah, I mean, you're on the train that you really don't charge your cars much over 50 unless you're going on a trip. So, like, if your car's sitting, let's just say, you know, this week we left our cars at home, you're not going to leave them sitting at 80% or 100%. It needs to have a slider. I think 50 is reasonable to have. You and I both, I think, would like to see something for, like, longer term storage on most cars.
Yeah, like original Tesla Roadster actually did it right. They had a storage mode. That meant you could charge it to 30% and leave it plugged in.
Yeah.
And that's the healthiest thing for the cells. 50%, not that much more stress. It's okay. But like most of my cars just get charged to 50 every day. And then I'll go to 80 if I'm going to do a longer trip and 100 if I'm going on a big trip. I never let the car limit me, but there's no reason just to have it degrading there faster.
Sure.
If I'm not using it or if I don't need the high state of charge for performance. Speaking of performance, we have our electric motor power output on front and rear. You won't ever be able to max out this gauge to 250 kilowatts because they're 205 each. So you'll get to like about there on the gauge. Uh-oh, back here. Torque management. We'll show you front and rear power distribution. There's a drag race mode with, I believe, a launch control actually. There's an off-road setting here as well, which is pretty cool. There's an accessory gauges that shows you, you know, battery level, battery average temperature. I love that this car shows you battery average temperature. That's great. You can see this clock here is doing something Bluetooth related, so it does pop up with different.
That's cool. I
items.
wonder if it does like notifications and stuff in there.
Yeah, maybe. So we have sports sound, like a synthesized sound, sports suspension option that we can turn.
I'm sorry, suspensions.
Oh yeah, that's right, sports suspensions. Many different suspensions are adjusted
So
with the
random.
push of a button, but it doesn't seem to be functional on this car. GT, max range,
Look how lagged out this thing is.
eco climate and power limiter, and then off-road optimizes traction for off-road routes. Back to sport.
Why does it lag like that? That's weird.
Yeah.
Like it pops up the same menu that's on there. It's interesting.
Mirror dimmer. Doesn't seem to be going dimmer, but maybe that's just to turn it
probably at
on.
night.
And then you've got your surround camera, which will pop up when you go into reverse.
What do you think of the camera's initial looking at them?
They
Too
look
fisheye.
like a calculator
A calculator.
or a potato.
Potatoes probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've just, like, and think of an old
Yeah.
TI-84.
Yeah, exactly.
Never had a camera. But that's what this, that's how I would describe
Yeah,
it.
not great.
Not great, but you can see everything around you. I mean, I would say similar to like Rivian Gen 1 cameras.
Yeah.
But should you have a Generation 1 Rivian experience on a vehicle that's probably going to cost twice as much than the initial base price of an old Rivian? Probably not.
No. Yeah,
Okay.
cameras need to be nice these days. I mean, the top view is nice to have, but
Yeah.
it's just not high quality.
In terms of settings in here, I'm not sure there's anything really worth. You got, touchscreen beep. We want off. I don't want to hear it beep every time I hit something, which it hadn't been doing, by the way. The setting was selected, but I didn't hear that. Well, just lots of little safety stuff. You have forward collision warning, rear park assist, no electric drive settings. That's where I would hope to see, sort of one pedal driving or something like that. So here's routing for the maps. Again, same thing we went to when we were in the navigation settings. No EV route planner. Yeah, you can show vehicle range. That's good, but there's no EV route planning in here. Camera, mirrors, tilt the mirrors in reverse, headlight settings, or like auto dim. There's a brake service. Nope, that probably just releases the parking brake. Suspension, auto entry exit suspension. That will make it look great when we slam it down. Yeah, there's just lots of settings in here, dude. Software downloads over Wi-Fi. Of course we want that. And then it's like hook it up to Wi-Fi, but we don't. And so that's really the whole system here. And there's a few apps.
What's the electric vehicle app?
Android Auto electric vehicle app brings us to.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. AM radio, Bluetooth, driver profiles, eco coaching. What? Oh, this teaches you how to drive more eco-friendly in your Maserati. What else is there? There's Sirius XM. There's the Sonos app for the sound system. No Spotify or anything like that. There is a Wi-Fi hotspot. Okay, that's a lot of software stuff, dude.
Yep.
Actually, pretty impressive system. Just really needs to be sped up a little bit and then have more features. The display is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Looks good. Head-up display as well. Seems bright. Like, everything is here. They just need to get software dialed in and actually have someone who is an EV expert put the EV stuff we want to see in here. Like, it's not hard. Maserati could just call me and be like, Kyle, what do we need in our car for the few EV drivers who really care? And also for someone who buys an EV that wants to learn more. Well, you just put a few things in here, and then the car can go from pretty bad to pretty great, just with some features. So Coleton, there you go, the Grecale Folgore. There's a lot to love here. Of course, I actually think it looks amazing. The interior quality seems great. Overall, the package is the right size, it's the right image, and of course we haven't driven it yet, so that's still a big question mark. However, there's also some questions when it comes to DC charging and range and efficiency and route planning, and some of the EV stuff seems maybe missing. Your final thoughts quickly, Coleton?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things to really like here. Again, I think the interesting thing is I don't think of Maserati and think electric. I mean, we had our first drive in this today, which I was actually like, okay, this is kind of a more enthusiast type EV.
Yeah, so there's a brand perception thing to get over, of
So
course.
this could be kind of cool to see how this drives. I personally think it looks mundane. Maybe it could be the color. To me, it just doesn't scream like, hey, I'm a big Maserati that's expensive. You know what I mean? Yeah, may just be need to be bright blue or something. But I think it's actually a cool package. I like the size. It seems a little bit bigger than Macan to me. Some of the software, though, definitely needs those refinements.
Yeah, I think before it launches in our market, we need route planning, we need plug and charge. We would like to see much higher DC charging performance, of course, but the car, pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to drive it and spend some time with it. I really think you have to want to not drive a Macan EV to go here. It is the alternate choice. And so the alternate choice sometimes isn't always better than the real clear pick. But then again, you might like the size, you might like the interior leather options that they offer compared to Porsche. And of course, it does seem like it's going to be much more exclusive to have this car than pretty much anything else in the electric SUV category, save for the Elettra or something like that. So there you guys have it, the Maserati Folgore Grecale, but not in that order. It's the Grecale Folgore. And I have to say, on initial impression, I think I'm not decided on what I think yet. I think we need to drive it, of course. And if it drives really well, it could really be a vehicle that we recommend. And as long as it seems like it has the longevity and the electronics figured out long term, then we may really truly fall in love with this car and recommend it. But it also could go the complete other way and have issues and not charge well and not have good range and maybe not even drive well, although I doubt that from a brand like Maserati, but they've done it in the past where they've produced some cars that haven't been great. So anyway, I would say still undecided, but that's our first tour, our initial take on this car. I'm very much excited to get it out on the road, hopefully before the end of the year, and do some driving with it. Maybe a race to Vegas against some of its competitors could be really fun. And I think that's the make or break. If this thing can do what a mid-size electric SUV needs to do, which is kind of everything, then it'll be a thumbs up. And if it really struggles in some categories because its competition does not struggle, they do everything kind of great, then this would be a thumbs down. So we'll wait and see. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on another one again soon. Goodbye from Pebble Beach. Bye-bye.